you?
My name is Abby Erdman. Who are you?
Kimberly Richardson, pronouns she, her.
Pronouns she, her, hers. How about that? So should we start?
Sure.
What made you decide to take the course?
I got an email from Steps to Success, and I always ignore. God, forgive me, Steps for Success. Sorry. I don't know where the camera is. And if I could look in the camera, I would tell you, like, forgive me. But I ignore them for many, many reasons that I don't need to get into in this platform. But I saw Telling Your Story, a memoir writing class. And I was like, what? I need to figure this out because I've been trying to write my book for years. And I signed up right away. This thing called Telling Your Story, which I love so much. Why did you start?
When I came back from Costa Rica, Eric and I were teaching men at Haley House who had just left prison. And we did that for a couple of sessions, and then I said to Eric one day, you know, we're both involved with Brookline. There are people whose stories haven't been heard in Brookline.
Okay, so that kind of took away from my next question, because I was going to say, why those people? When I say those people, I mean, you know, low-income people who live in public housing, but
Exactly.
you answered that, but expound.
Well, I mean, I, as a public school teacher for 45 years, I was always looking around and saying, whose story isn't represented? Of course, as a public school teacher, you have a range of people. But I felt like Brookline is so dominated by white liberals, and I felt a need to say there are so many other voices that aren't heard.
So you wanted those voices heard, and did you find it hard to engage with the people whose voices had not been heard? You know what I mean? Like, it's because this is, you know, like you're teaching for all these years, predominantly rich white kids, and now you have these women, different ages, different races, and you get to like, and how was that?
So I should say that the piece of work that I did before I did the Haley House Men was I was in Costa Rica teaching, sort of helping people write their stories who were Spanish-speaking teenagers who were illiterate.
Oh, wow.
So I don't speak Spanish, and so I paired with a beautiful young woman, Swiss, and I would ask the question, she would translate it, ask them the question. They would give her the answer in Spanish. She'd translate it to me, and that's how it went. So for me, that gap was huge.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I have ways of linking, you know, to all of you as much as I'm so different and aware of my white privilege.
Yeah.
I have ways of linking to you through education, through parenting, through mothering. You know, I'm used to pushing people and holding people.
Yeah.
And having people expand and go inward and go deeper and then go outward. And that can work with anybody whose trust you can gain. And I did feel that at the beginning was a bit of an issue.
Right? Because we don't know each other right now. You're here.
Yeah.
It's this like two white people with these women of color. I mean, both of you come from privilege and money, and you have these like people of color, low income, and it's like, who are these people?
Exactly.
Do I trust these people with my life? So yeah, I get that. That first day, season, first day, I remember it well, and we didn't know you, and we hadn't built trust yet, but yet myself and Tiara, we were crying in this first reading. Like, it was like, what is this all about? But I guess in that moment, we built some trust.
Yes.
Because after that, it flowed.
Right. It's okay though. It's okay. Like, there ain't nothing wrong with that. We're not used to like. You see me when I first got here. I was like, Abby's like, well, can we know where? I was like, oh, hell no. Like, we're just not raised that way. It's like, you know.
My friend Margaret Metzger had a phrase called calling in the universe. And when people write from their heart and are vulnerable and try to see a broader picture that connects to their inward feeling, they call in the universe.
And I'm like a believer in that. The universe puts us where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, and all of us who are here and have been here from the start, this is exactly where we're supposed to be and to get to share our stories. And so I thank you for like starting this and allowing us to just like share, you know, our most vulnerable selves. Yeah.
Well, it's cliche to say it's been an honor, but it's been an honor.
Oh, thank you.
You know, to feel so close to all of you.
But I'm so appreciative. I am so appreciative of you and Eric. And I mean, telling your story has connected me in so many ways. I mean, like I've always knew that I was meant to be something great, right?
Yeah.
Like as a kid, I knew that I had greatness in me.
Yeah.
Like it was deep down in there, right? And it had to be pulled up because I had a lot of struggles, you know, a lot of trauma, a lot of things that I had to overcome. And beginning to write, spending time in Free Write, spending time in telling your story, this community, this network I have, it helped me like, oh girl, get your shit together. All that stuff that you know you can do it. So yeah, telling your story has been really instrumental in a lot of that. Yeah.
So we've been friends for like what, 11, 12 years now?
I think it's been longer than that.
Oh, it's been torture. No, I'm kidding. It's
Yeah,
been
right.
great.
It's the best time.
It's been great.
You have had the best. This is the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Nobody makes me laugh like
I
you.
know.
We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
I
got fired
Yeah.
for almost punching a doctor in the face.
Okay,
She was a
stop
bitch.
Let's stop there. Let's not rehash that.
It was fun.
We don't need to rehash
I
that.
hated that job.
I know.
I was like, yes. Should have hit her. Fuck.
I'm happy you didn't.
Me too, I
Because
guess. I
then
don't
I
want to wreck
really
it.
might have not been your friend.
No, you would have been
You would have
bailing
been
me
in jail.
out.
Yeah.
No, you would have just bailed me out.
So I'm happy you're not there.
Me too.
But it is part of one of the stories that you have to write. Do you remember how you joined this, telling your story?
Initially, I was like, this is fucking annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't need this in my life right now. But when I did, it was good. I was like, oh wow. And it was good. It was good. It was good to like put that on paper and just get it out.
This is the point is that I knew something was wrong. He's telling me, wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
I
good.
don't know.
I needed that shit. Like I needed that.
Yeah. It did feel like it really invasive. Like you are
It was.
sharing so many personal details of yourself, sharing things that you were not proud maybe of doing now at this point. That at
Absolutely.
the time you thought was a great
It
idea.
was like, oh, this shit is lit. Yes.
and then sharing it with people that might be like people you have to communicate with, interface with,
Or
in
you may
Brookline or at
see.
school, and you may see.
I thought that, yeah, definitely.
And I also have often thought, while I'm painting that picture or writing that story, oh, damn, what is the statute of limitations? Or who's going to judge me for this, for these things that I've been through? Who's going to have something negative to say? And I think that that's one difficult thing about.
I know I felt that way. I was like, okay, what the hell? Am I just going to be sitting around a bunch of people telling
them
my business?
Jinx.
Giving all my business out,
Right.
putting it in the streets.
Right.
Just state, I'm going to read a fiction work. It's based on something that happened to me. And that's all you need to say.
Okay.
Period.
And that's enough. When we first started it, we were thinking about like issues of equity and inequality. And this was pre-pandemic, right? And
Yep.
we are not the only ones that were thinking about that.
course not.
Everybody was thinking about that. But
Everyone.
we were kind of introduced to telling your story as a way for us, people of color, to tell other people in Brookline more
White people.
about white people and other
Who did
but
not
white
grow
people,
up
the way
the way we grew up.
exactly about our story, and that felt extremely uncomfortable to me.
I don't think I've ever been that nervous in my life. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? I just remember thinking like, oh my God, I'm this black chick from the projects, and what am I doing here? This is weird. I'm about to tell these people all my business.
Well,
But it was good because the story I told was about my childhood with Tito. But it was that first reading that I did, I was like, I don't do stand up. I don't speak in front of people. I don't do public speaking at all.
that was hard for me too.
That was really hard for me. But it was good. I was glad I did it because it kind of was like, all right, come on, go on now. You talk all day. gone. Now you got an audience.
Right. So how does it feel now? When we think about January.
Now that I'm a superstar?
Yeah, now that you're a superstar. And when we think about January and our next reading, after kind of a while, what do you think of yourself as a writer and a writer who shares with other people?
I am a writer and a writer who shares with other people. But I feel like I'm only sharing what Tell Your Story. And whoever else might catch it. But my book's going to be amazing.
I'm going to be definitely more comfortable sharing. I feel like at this point, it doesn't affect me as much. When I think about like sharing my story with people that are white or affluent, I feel definitely way more comfortable. I think that's because of the writing and partaking in the writing, and I think it's also because it's been a few years since 2017, so I've grown so much.
Yes, you
since
have.
then. You too.
I see
Especially
you, girl.
your butt.
I know, this
Are you
shit's
gonna
out of
show the
control.
camera?
Hell to the no.
You got a big butt.
You got a big ass? Let me see. I ain't never seen your little ass.
Get up.
Keep
Get
on.
up. No. Get up. No.
She had a big ass. She's so little. I can't.
Come to telling your story. You'll see her butt. No.
No.
Anyway.
And it's real.
Yeah.
How about that?
Her BBL. For real. Oop.
Yeah,
I
no.
spit and everything.
We're not
Because
gonna
that's
do
how
the BBL.
excited I get about your butt. Like,
I know, it's really weird.
it's
I
really
don't
big.
understand
I
it,
wish I
so.
had it. That's why. Anyway, but I feel like so much more comfortable. I feel much more comfortable and much more confident. And I think I
And
genuinely,
we can see it.
I feel much more comfortable sharing my story, and I worry a lot less about judgment. Because you haven't lived a day in my shoes. You don't know why I've been through what I've been through or why I've made the choices I've made. So you're just here for the ride. Come and understand. Exactly.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, hi.
Hello.
I've been looking forward to this for a long time, I have to say, getting to do a co-interview with you and have this like open chat about writing. So why don't we just dive right into our questions and we'll get to know each other through that. Does that sound good?
Sure, no problem.
What motivated you to join and what has it been like for you so far?
Well, I was at a parent meeting and this flyer was floating around. And I was like, this sounds interesting. I hadn't written in quite some time at that point. So I liked what the flyer said and I said, okay, I'm there. And that was the beginning of the journey, you know.
When I first met you, you were writing so seriously, and I thought you were this literary type. I could like feel it coming off you. I was like, that woman is a writer. She's really serious. She's really literary type. She's analytical. She's deep. All those things. But it took a while to see that you're also a very humorous and lighthearted person, and especially meeting your boys, and especially Naeem, because he's just such a like wonderful wild card of a kid.
I thought you all were crazy saying that you all are writers and you can write a book. So yeah, right. Me, write a book, become an actual author, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe a word you were saying, but as time went on, I felt like this is possible.
You thought it wasn't possible because you thought you needed to have training for that?
Yeah, yes.
And now you see the training is just to write, which is hard.
It's just a process. That's the way I look at it. You know, it's not always one and done. So.
I get the feeling sometimes like I wrote this already. I'm living an experience. I'm like, oh, I already wrote this. I know how this night is going to go because I already wrote that.
But then the emotions that come with it, like, wow, I didn't really expect, like, remember why I was feeling this way or feeling that way. And, like, just different things come through the rewriting.
Is there a specific piece you're working on right now or something that you can mention?
Yes, my parenting style, how I'm raising my kids and how it, you know, just brings up so many, memories from how I was raised and how, you know, you always want to do things a little bit differently than your parents did, but somehow, some way, that's your core.
Yeah.
So some things are different, but a lot of things are the same.
I just have a new book I finished up. It's kind of funny about me and my partner Teddy and how we met and started dating. The book is called Across the Street because he was living across the street from me. And kind of the history of us. And you know what I mean? I hope that that will be enough to get people to be like, okay, poetry is alive a little bit because it's still storytelling.
Yes.
And like poetry is dead. There was an article in the New York Times this week, poetry is dead. I agree with that. Poetry is dead in the sense that poetry isn't reaching enough people. It isn't relevant.
Yeah.
So how do you bring it back from the dead? It has to be reborn in those of us that like dare to call ourselves contemporary poets, right? It has to somehow live again, which means poetry has to be good. It has to connect with people. It has to have broad readership that's not just other poets.
True.
So that's kind of, I don't know, style-wise is to try to take poetry and make it appealing, make it sexy, make it interesting, make it something that people will like.
Eric, can you let us know what motivated you to start this program, telling your story?
It's a really fun, long story, but so I try to make it as short as I can. Abby was my teacher at Brookline High School. But in recent years, Abby definitely turned more toward racial justice as her kind of primary focus in life. I think it happened because her student, Ahmaud Bright, got arrested and put in jail for like a long time. And Abby got deeply involved with Ahmaud, and she helped him finish up his GED when he was still in prison, and she helped him get his college degree from prison, and she helped him write a memoir, all while he was in jail.
That's awesome.
Abby's like, what can we do like together? Is there some kind of program we can put together that might be helpful? We started working at a kind of an early release program at Haley House Bakery Cafe in Roxbury.
Down Dudley, yes.
Have you been to that place?
Yes.
It's delicious.
It
It's
is.
so good. Everything they make is delicious. Well, that was the program. Well, Abby and I started teaching these guys just like this, telling your story, like writing memoir. But we were so upset to find out that they were forced to clock out before each class with us. So they weren't being paid to be there. Like they were at work, but then they had to clock off the clock. And we were like, no, this is like moral outrage. Like, it's good to be a writer, but you need to get paid for it. So we started to design a program around these guys where we're like, okay, we're gonna get them paid. If they need a nap, we're gonna get a nap because they usually needed a nap. And then we could do a little bit of writing, and Abby would do a little yoga and send everybody home.
Nice.
That program morphed into this program, believe it or not. It shouldn't cost you to be a writer. That was our theory behind the program. Is that storytelling can save all of our asses one way or another.
True. And I'm so happy you all started this. It's come a long way.
Yeah.